Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Clearly the oil technician, because I'm in line in a car. This was so weird. My mom and I still laugh, and it was a while back. This isn't a typical I don't work here, but this lady... My mom and I were going to lunch. She needed an oil change, so I decided to go with her before lunch. You wait in line in your car, kind of like a car wash. Typically a 15-minute line with a 15-minute oil change was an hour-and-a-half line and a 15-minute oil change. This lady pulls in after we do, then gets out of her car and walks up to the car window. Yeah, is this the line? Yeah. Oh, okay. How long will it take? Don't know. We're third and there's cars already in there. Oh, okay. So she walks back to her car. Then 10 minutes later comes back. So if I go to the store shopping, can I just leave my keys in the car and you can tell them? Maybe because two people in our car, I'm like, dude, no, go ask them. I think she went in. Then she comes back. They said, no, I have to wait in my car. Yeah, well, how long do you think it'll take? They said, they don't know. Yep, that's what she said. My mom, that never snaps and is way nicer than me, I don't know. I don't work here. Go ask them. If they don't know either, then I don't know. I told my mom to just stop rolling down the window. The line moves forward and her car doesn't, so people go around her. We thought she fell asleep. My mom, being nice, told the oil technicians and one went to knock on her window. She wasn't in there. Then when we were leaving, they were done and she was standing in the garage holding a pile of groceries. And our next story. I am her manager, but... So this happened about a week ago, and my colleague told me I should post it here because she thought you would find it funny. Hope you're happy, NK. I wasn't aware of this sub, so I made an account in order to do so. Sorry if I get anything wrong. I work a white-collar job and have a small group of employees who report to me. One of my direct reports, I'll call her NK, and I had a meeting with a prospective client at their office. Since our conference room smells like feet for some reason, and we were coming back from the meeting, we decided to stop in the coffee shop across the street from the office to compare notes. The place was crowded, so we found a two-person high top in a corner, ordered 2 cups of coffee, and pulled out our laptops. After a while, we were done with our coffee and NK had to use the restroom. So she offered to bring up our mugs and get us another cup. I said that was fine, but to get them to go since I didn't think we'd be there too much longer. I should probably mention that I'm dressed in a navy blue suit and tie. NK is wearing black pants, a dark gray top, and heels. She leaves with mugs in hand, and I start dealing with emails that have come in. The cafe is still busy, and the 2 baristas behind the counter are busy taking orders and getting people's drinks. I zoned out for a bit while answering emails, but was suddenly brought back to reality when I noticed that someone was standing right next to me. When I look up, I see that a woman who's been described as looking like a Karen on this sub, late 40s, that haircut, horrible taste in clothes, and NK standing behind her looking exasperated. The following conversation then took place. NK, here he is. Karen, your manager? Me, utterly confused. I'm sorry? Karen, are you her boss? Me, still no idea what's going on. Sure, we usually are referred to as team lead. Karen, whatever, I want her written up. We need our table wiped down and she ignored me 3 times. I've never had an experience where a server has looked right at me, then just completely ignored me. Don't you have any pride in your customer service? I look behind her to NK, who's rolling her eyes as Karen speaks. When I look back to the table Karen gestured to, I see an older gentleman who's quietly sipping his coffee across from a giant handbag. At this point, things start to click for me. NK walked up to the counter and dropped off the mugs, then went to the restroom, after which she went back to the counter to order our second cups. Karen must have thought she worked there, since she was wearing darker colors, which is the standard uniform for a certain chain of coffee shops. However, this wasn't that coffee shop, and NK's clothes were obviously nice, go meet an important client type of clothes, and don't know many baristas wear heels on the job. Me. Well, we do value customer service, but cleaning tables isn't exactly her job, as I gesture towards the table with the laptops and reports laid on it. If you want someone to help you, you might ask someone behind the counter. Karen, who's a bit confused. She doesn't work here? Me? No, we work at Company X across the street. Karen, well, it's still rude to ignore people. Me, having had enough at this point. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we're in the middle of something. If you'd like to discuss it further, you can email me. I hand her my business card with an impressive but ultimately useless director title on it. Karen hesitates a bit longer as I make direct eye contact with her before turning away in a huff and heading back to what I'm assuming was her husband. Poor bastard. NK sets the coffees down and apologizes, which was unnecessary, but said that the woman grabbed her by the arm, almost spilling the coffee, and simply refused to believe that she didn't work there. So when she asked to see her manager, NK thought, fine, let's go. We were there for a few more minutes before we decided to pack up. As we were leaving, I looked over to Karen's table to see her giving us a death stare. I waved, she quickly looked away. Never did get an email about it. Anyway, that's my tale. I hope you enjoyed it as much as NK enjoyed hearing me tell it to the office. And as they say on the IT crowd, people, what a bunch of bastards. And our last story. Please punch the cop. Please punch the cop. Yes, full custody. See ya, Karen. Punch a cop because your kid can go wherever he wants? Cast. EM entitled Mom, a classic Karen with the cut. LK, little kid, me, obviously. I worked overnight at a 24-hour truck stop restaurant attached to a motel in a small town when I was 19. There was a massive, unrelenting heat wave. It was about 45 degrees Celsius during the day and about 35 at night. I don't understand Fahrenheit, so like 98 or 110-ish. Anyway, it was about 3 a.m. on a Wednesday, and the restaurant was full of people that just wanted to take advantage of the air conditioning. And I honestly didn't care. The restaurant was falling apart and was basically a giant safety hazard. The serving line, it's a row with equipment, knives, dirty dishes, sinks, etc., was especially bad. Puddles of water, exposed wires, and a pack of razor blades for the box cutters. Anyway, I'm honestly surprised more employees didn't get injured. So in walks entitled Mom with her husband and 2 kids. I seat them at a table, bring them some menus, and take their drink order. I give them their drinks and then go around to check on the other tables. Most people were asleep. There were a ton of kids all asleep. I go back to my line to refill some drinks, and there's a random child, little boy around 3, running through my line. I pick up the kid and put him down outside the line and tell him that he can't be back there. He seems to get it and runs off. I drop off the refill and another table, and the same kid is back in my line, and he has one of the knives in his hand. Super dull, but still a knife. I grab the kid, take the knife out of his hand, and tell him that he cannot be back there, and I don't want him to get hurt. I start looking for his parent, and I can't remember which table he was from. I put him down and watched which table he went back to. It was entitled Mom. F. Not wanting to start anything, I just decide to drop it. I move the knives to a top shelf and move the box cutter. I drop some food off at a table, come back, and LK is in my effing line again. This is the 3rd time in like 2 to 3 minutes. I pick up the kid and head over to EM's table. I plop LK down in the seat and say, me. Here you go, little buddy, as I put the kid down. I'm sorry, but your son keeps wandering into the serving line. It's super dangerous back there. Please make sure he knows he can't do that. I don't want anyone to get hurt. EM. What are you talking about? It's a restaurant. He can go wherever he wants. Me. I'm okay with him running around, just not back there. Pointing at the serving line, there are dirty dishes and knives and plenty of other super dangerous things. Please keep him out of there. EM. How dare you tell me how to be a parent? Me. I'm doing no such thing. He simply cannot go back there. EM. He can go wherever he wants. Where's your manager? Me. My manager isn't here at the moment. Please feel free to call during the day and make a complaint, but EM screaming at the top of her lungs about how she's going to get me fired and how rude I am, etc. At this point, the entire restaurant is awake and staring. Me, in my scary, calm voice that's been honed over 3 years in customer service, Mrs., you have until the count of 3 to stop yelling at me, or I'm going to have to ask you to leave. EM, more screaming, something about how I can't treat people this way, or something. Me. 1. EM, screaming. Me. 2. EM, even more screaming, the kind that makes their neck go all red and that singular pulsing vein appear on their forehead. Me. 3. You may leave now. EM. You can't kick us out. Me. Yes, I can. I've asked you to leave. If you don't, I will call the police. EM, I am not leaving. Call them. Call the cops. I pull out my phone and dial the personal phone number of one of the cops on duty. I had to call the cops multiple times a night, almost every night. The cops knew me very well because there was a no non-emergency line at 3 a.m. and the 911 operators were in a city 7 hours away. The cops gave me their numbers. EM, you're not really calling the cops, you effing liar. To me, while I'm on the phone with the cops. The cops showed up in about 1 minute. Very small town, they must have been just down the street. Cop 1 gets in between EM and I. Cop 2 pulls me aside to ask what's going on. I tell Cop 2 everything, and he said he'd take care of it. EM is screaming at the cops about how I'm a terrible person, and I was screaming at her and that I assaulted her child. They start trying to move her towards the exit while trying to calm her down. She runs around them and gets right in my face, screaming about how I'm going to regret this and that I'm going to go to jail for assaulting her kid. I stay completely silent as I'm pretty used to getting screamed at, and generally by way scarier people than Karen here. Cop 1 gets in between us again and gently touches EM's forearm to move her acrylic gel nails out of my face, and EM backs up and punches the cop right in the face. Cop 2 tackles her to the ground and immediately handcuffs her and drags her out of the restaurant, screaming at the top of her lungs. She punched a effing cop, you guys. A cop. So, what would have been a talking to in a parking lot, then an angry phone call to my manager in the morning, led to prison time. WTF. P.S. Dad was there but didn't say a single word the entire time. Everyone else in the restaurant just watched. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.